Okay, guys, this is sound check. Just let me know if you hear me. Thank you. Hello, guys. We have talked a lot about various things. Well, I have talked a lot, but now I'm going to talk less and less, okay? I said in the first session, this is going to be a different approach to programming and everything else, and it is going to be a thing called problem-based learning, okay? So we are working on a real project, AI Siha, and the way that we are going to learn how to program is by actually solving the real problems, okay? So to prepare for today, I asked 4 brave volunteers, which didn't volunteer. It was kind of, more communist. You are the volunteers, and they didn't say no. Today they had a task that they got yesterday. So they had a little bit of time to try to figure it out with various success rate. But now they have to do it on this computer that, they see for the first time. So we'll have 4 brave volunteers, half an hour each. So we'll first see what the task was, and after that we can see how we think about the task, okay? So it's not, I'm not asking for solution that right now we have to have perfect solution, that it has to work, okay? It's more about the thinking process. So how do I find this information? How do I find that information? What do I need in order to get things right, okay? So the first problem and the first volunteer, she's smiling nervously, is Bernas. So what was your task?
So my task was to create a list of users which are banned, and then make some buttons to be able to ban or unban them in the database.
Okay. So just to give a little bit more of context here, we have a translation engine which asks user to suggest corrections, okay? So while most users will be really nice and suggest really lovely corrections to our errors in the translation, some of them might not be so nice and be cheeky and suggest wrong things, okay? So this is why we want to be able to ban the users which are naughty and suggesting the wrong things, so we don't take their things in, now, how would you do this, Mernas?
Okay, so the first thing that I did is that I checked the database table users to see if there's a column for the user to show if it's banned or not.
Okay.
And I also had to see if there's a reason that why is that user banned. And I couldn't find any. So my next step was to add those columns to the table. And first I tried to do it here, but it was a bit complicated, so I did the easy way. So I went to my admin and to the database there. And from here I'm gonna go to AI Siha. And then I went to users and I altered the table. So here I could see what is already available. And then here I could add a new column. So what I did, I just added a new column and I named it is banned. And I didn't touch anything else. I tried to change the type, but then at the end I was like, this is the best type to use. I wanted to have it like binary, true or false, but I didn't manage. So I added this column, and then I added one more, which is like banned reason. That's why is this user banned. And then I simply saved it. And now if we go here and refresh, okay, it's not showing it. But it is here.
So say it has some output which says structure synchronization is being upgraded.
Okay, so it's not upgraded yet, I assume.
Whatever that means. So what do you think that means?
I remember that when I tried it with my laptop, it took a while, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I tried it a few times. But I can see that here it's altered.
Yeah.
So,
And if you go there and click on show structure again in the browser, okay, then you can see that you have those two already. Okay,
yes.
so both of these applications, web application, this database editor, and the one which is in VS Code are connected to the same database. Okay, and they should see exactly the same thing. All right. Now I don't know. This is somebody's plugin. Okay, somebody made a plugin for VS Code, and is this plugin good or bad? I don't know. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it just dies and takes ages to update, or I need to exit VS Code, and you know, it might be just an extremely annoying plugin. And if it is, then I'll just find a different one. But the one that we have in AppSource is actually really, really, really good. You know, for all this sort of stuff, if we want to create a databases, or edit, modify, do various things. So I do recommend once you have it up and running, just use this one. You know, this is the best one that I've seen, and it's very, very fast as well. So let's, okay, so we created two columns in the database, okay? So in the users, okay, database, you created two columns, okay? IsBand, which will, I assume, have two values, yes, no, or true or false.
Yes.
And then you put a reason why we are banning these users, okay?
Yes.
So, fine. So what would you do next after you have the list of users and they are either banned or not banned or empty?
Well, then it doesn't show it here, so I'm gonna go back to AppSource. What I did is I added a few more users because this is Ahmed and Esther, and I wanted to have more users to try. And gonna see how can I add here. So I just created some test users. So I have one more now. I'm gonna add one more.
because this is our local environment, we can do whatever the hell we want, okay? So we can add users, delete users, it doesn't matter, you know. We are not changing anything on the main AI Siha website, so we can do this, use demonstration data, you know, because otherwise we won't see what we are doing, okay? And it's very hard to test. However, what Menas doesn't know is that this table is updated automatically. Okay, so but anyway, let's it doesn't matter, you know. So the users who log in appear in this table. So they have to log in. So this is why we have two users, you know, for the first time, you know, these are again demo users, but for the purpose of your task, this is good, okay? So let's move on. So you have 4 users, you have some reasons.
Okay, so now I have the database here as well. So
Okay.
the next thing that I did,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the root and to
Okay.
the web.php because I need to create a root. So I just copied one of them. And then I commented so. And here I put the page name, so I will call it band users. And this is the name of the controller, so I'm gonna call it band users as well. Or yes. And this is a class.
Okay, so one thing what I noticed is the controller, you put all the lowercase and then you put this, I can't remember what they are called, this, you have camel case and whatever they are, you know, when every other letter is capitalized or not, so it looks like camel or whatever not, okay? While PHP allows you to use whatever you want, what we want for coding standards and practices to use same kind of language. So if you see that your controllers are all letters, capital, etc., you know, of each word, just copy that, you know, keep the format, all right? And if all your functions are like lowercase or whatever they are, just keep that, okay? So, yeah, camel case, thank you very much. Okay, so you made the root. You put a comment, which are your initials, okay?
Yes.
Which is not a bad thing to put your initials, especially because they are quite unique, all right? But I would put something more informative. My initials are AF, and I think that there are 20 words that will have AF as a part of word. So if I search for my name, AF, I'm going to get lots of results, okay? So maybe I would like to put something longer, you know. So your name is unique. There are no PHP commands called Mernas, okay? So if you search for your name, you can easily find where you entered stuff before, okay? But you also need to explain, okay, what is this root for, okay? So what's going to happen when users use this root?
It's gonna show the band users.
So this is going to show the band users page, okay?
Yes.
So showing the band users page, or because we will be able to manage it. Maybe it's a management of band users or something like that.
Shall I move on? So the next step for me was to make a controller. So I went to the controllers and I added a new file. And the name had to match this one, so. Oh, we don't have it. Okay. And then what I did next is that I copied this page. And then I just deleted everything that I didn't need. And here I need to return view, so it's gonna be
You can always Control F, you know, if you're looking for something, you can scroll forever, or you can just Control F and it will find stuff in your folder. So if you are looking for view, you just type view and then you can have those arrows, just click next, next, next and find the view that you care about, okay? Okay, so guys in the chat, you can always tell me what she's doing wrong here and what mistakes she's making. If you figure them out. I'm not saying you're doing something wrong, don't worry, you know, it's just a challenge for them to pay more attention.
I'm trying to think about the steps that I did.
Yeah, but explain to me, okay, why did you make a controller?
Okay, so the controller is where I define the variables and the functions.
Okay, but you have a home controller. Why did you make a new one?
Because this is for the band users, and this is for, I think, the home page.
But do we need to have one controller per one page?
I actually don't know.
Well, the answer is no. We can have 1,000 pages in one controller. Okay? And the controllers are not just for pages, but they are for other stuff as well. So the functions which are not just displaying pages can be in controller. Okay? So it's not just for the page. Okay? But we typically group controllers in some sort of relation between them. Okay, so if I'm managing users, I will have a user controller. And all the pages which are related to management of the users will be a user controller. Okay, and if I'm managing, let's say, translations, which we are going to do this, then I would have a translation control, and everything related to translation pages and processes will be in that controller. So they are like topics. So I structure my things, in a way that I don't have too many controllers, okay, because I can have too many, and that is hard to find. Or I can just have one which has a huge amount of code in it, which is not needed, okay? So we are trying to find the optimized way. So what we are thinking here, okay, are we going to do more stuff with users? Is it better to call it user controller, and they have a functions band and so on? But for the time being, this will work, okay? So it's not wrong, okay? So nobody on the chat spotted any mistakes yet, but yeah.
I know. I didn't make the function.
You didn't make the function, yeah, but that will also be one of them.
Oh, I'm missing something.
Now, one typical mistake that we are always making is we are typing, and when you are typing, you make an error, spelling error, okay? And this programming hates that, okay? So I never type the names of classes, controllers, and so on. So I just type it once. Let's say we typed it in web roots, and then I copy paste it, okay? When I copy paste the name, I know it is exactly the same what I typed, okay? So for right now, this function list band users, well, there is good chance that it is called exactly like that in web roots, but there might also be called differently. We'll see, you know, it will complain about it. So just advice. Yeah, you know, first look, it looks good. Okay?
Okay.
So, you have your controller, you have your function.
Now I think, I'm not sure, but I think I need to make the blade.php page. So this can take me to that page.
Okay. So in Laravel, we can put all the blades, all the pages that we have in this view folder. But if we have a group of pages that are similar, okay, we can create a subfolder for them, because at the end of the day, it's the same kind of logic. If I have hundreds of pages on my website and I have this huge list, it's better to organize them. So I have folder like administration pages where all the administration is done. Then I have user pages which show everything regarding users, and then I can have a shop pages where everything regarding purchasing is done, where my products are and so on. So if I have a lot, then I organize it. But for this thing right now, we can just add it to views directly, okay?
So I'm gonna check how this was called. Oh. Does this only search in this file?
Yeah, that searches in that file. If you want to search in all files, you go to this left part where you have a structure, okay? But what I typically do, I select the folder where I want to search. I don't want to search in the whole project, so I want to search probably in views, so I right-click on views and then use find.
Okay, I already.
You forgot it, okay? So now this is really smart, okay, what she's doing, because what she's doing, she's trying to find a similar page where the stuff is already defined. This is a benefit because we have lots of pages with buttons, with forms, with diagrams, so the problem is already being solved. You have the code, you just need to find that page, understand what it does, and just copy what you need, okay? So let's see, is your page working right now? So if I go to that URL, is it going to work or is it going to crash right now?
I don't think it's gonna work because I have a red line here.
Yeah, why do you think that's the case?
I'm gonna create a test variable.
Yeah, it's not a variable.
Oh, no?
Well, the red line is where the red line is. So you don't need to go to any other thing, okay? You need to stay here, right? So typically, first that you check are your brackets, okay? because we forget to put a bracket or we put the bracket in the wrong place, okay? So it might be missing a bracket, okay? Now it's very useful when you click on a bracket in line number 6, for example, you just click on it, it shows you where that closing bracket is, okay? So then you have a bracket that you open at the end of line 8, I think, okay? So you can click on it, and this is where it's closed, okay? Now, the error here, okay, is in this line. And this tells you what the error is, okay? Now, these descriptions are not always the best. And you can install PHP plugins which will give you better descriptions and help you do the stuff here. But this return view can't be in the class, because right now it is in a class. It is between those two brackets of the class. This is part of the function, so the function that you are calling, okay, has to return the view. You can't return the view outside of the function, because the function is what we are executing. So we are going to, I assume, fetch some users, which are banned or not banned, and then we are going to display them on the view. So that's error fixed. So let's see, does it work, the URL that you typed and so on?
Actually, user. No?
So what do you think is wrong, guys?
So you have one mistake in the controller, I think. The word controller.
Word controller, in which line?
5.
In which line 5? What's the mistake?
Not sure.
Needs a capital letter. I think so.
Yeah, of course it needs a capital letter. I asked the guys on the chat to look into this.
Oh. Okay.
So what's your URL?
Should be AI Siha-band user.
Okay, and what is your web PHP?
Ah. So I think now I need to change also here.
No.
No? And not the name of the blade PHP?
Well, the names have to be consistent, okay? This is one thing what I kept saying, because, you know, if we use it band user or users, a capital U in one sentence and the other one is not, then we are going to run into these problems, okay? So the first thing first, okay? So what I like to do is to see where is this in web PHP, okay? So you have /band users, okay, so this is a root get, all right? Is there another one which is maybe above? Let's see, just scroll up for a second. Okay, so you have test, for example, or you have duplicates, all right, or you have, so let's try test. Or duplicates in the URL. No, just
No?
try it in URL. Okay, so this one is doing something. I don't know what that test is, all right? So it's definitely doing something, okay? Can you click on that text to stop it on the browser. Yeah, and then try. Okay, so go back to your code. Okay, so this one test works. Okay, can you copy paste that line? No, the one from yours that you have. Just
Here?
yeah. Okay, so one thing what I see is a difference, but it shouldn't be a difference, as Laravel should handle it, is obviously this slash, all right? So let's try without slash, I don't know. What would you do? Does anyone know what's the wrong thing here?
I'm gonna try AI Siha.
No.
No? Oh,
Yeah, see how
okay.
works.
No,
I
sometimes
know.
it logs out.
The thing is case sensitive.
Ah, no.
No, so now you got something, okay? So now it found it, but it gave you a server error, okay? Which is a great thing. So at least this bit works, but we have a server error. Now, server error is something that's great for our users and users. They see, oh my God, something doesn't work, okay? But for us, as a developers, this is not very informative. It just says it doesn't work, okay? So we want to switch to development mode and debug mode. So if you open this env file, okay, so it says production. Okay, so if it's production and the debug is the 2 lines down is false, then of course this is not going to tell us what's wrong. Ture, yeah. Okay, so make sure it's Ture, okay? And now you have the error, okay? So the error is that class controllers band users doesn't exist, which is probably mistaken names. That's why I said copy, paste the stuff, you know, so you ensure that it's consistent. So let's look at your controller. So what's the name of the controller?
Band user.
1. And then the class, what's the name of class?
Band users. But
Is that the same?
No, this should be band users.
Aha. See, when you type, you forget the letter, and then it doesn't work. So is it working now? Yep, so now it opens the page. Obviously, there is nothing on this page because the blade is empty. So what she is going to do, let's say hello at least, something like that, because it's half an hour. So does it say hello?
No.
Doesn't say hello. Well, I told it to say hello and it's not saying hello. Can you right click? No, on the web page and view page source. And Control F when it loads. Oh, there's no page source. Refresh that. This is Firefox bug sometimes. Can you repeat the process? No, just close that and close that tab. View page source. It looks like there is no code.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe there is no view return. I don't know. But this is, you know, half an hour. We did few great things, so well done. You know, you are the bravest one of them all. Well, I chose you for a reason. You know, so obviously there is more to be done. You know, you can't do the whole programming thing in half an hour, but I think we've reminded ourselves, okay, this is the table, this is how I edit the table, this is how I do the controllers, this is what I need to make sure that I'm doing right and so on. So Well done.
Thank you.
I remember to mute the mic because last time I was banging these mics against the tables, which people on the stream did not appreciate. So here's our even braver volunteer, okay? So she did really, really, really well, okay? She did excellent, okay? So nobody can beat this, all right?
That's good.
So, but I know that one of you will fail miserably, get confused as hell. Okay, he was typing earlier to his relatives back home that he's on a big screen and so on. So that there's whole family watching. The granny is there, everybody's there. Okay, so what was your task, Khalil?
My task was to clone my blog into our folder and run the app and grant access and try to translate one page.
Okay. Now my blog is the application which is basically WordPress without all the WordPress spyware and other stuff in it. Okay. And we are using it for the front page of AppSource. We can use the other stuff as well, but in this case we are using my blog or WordPress. So what he needs to do is set it up on his machine and make sure that all our users, which they go to appsource.com or aisiha.com or whatever the web page is, shows some content, which you can see on aisiha.com. So, okay, so how do you do this?
Well, first of all, we need to make a path inside our main HTML file.
Okay.
So we open a terminal and we make sure we are outside of Siha. We'll be in HTML right now, and we will make a directory called my blog. After the directory is made, we have to cd into it, and we have to clone the repository that we have. So we go here and we
Okay, so there's on the top says repository, so you can see all of them.
yeah.
And then you can find my blog. There should
It's
be
here.
alphabetical. Okay.
And copy the link. Just Control C.
Okay.
We go back, and here we have to get clone. You paste the link.
So pasting in the terminal, Control-Shift-V.
Yeah.
Okay.
We make sure we add the dot.
Okay, they can't see the dot because there is this picture of you and me here, so I'm just going to move us to the top corner, so now they can see the dot.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
move your mouse a little bit about the dot. Okay?
Here.
Okay, so,
We make the dot so that we don't make a file, a folder. We just clone into this directory.
okay,
And we have to change this because of getBlit, I think,
yeah,
and HTTP.
yeah. So the URL that this getBlit, which we can share later online, is giving is wrong. We made a bug and we never fixed it, so we always have to do this. We are just too lazy. Okay, so what happened now?
Now we have all the files that we need for my blog in our directory. So mainly we have to make a database for my blog. So MySQL.
Okay, but it's lovely that you are expert already in console. Okay, but you could have made this folder in on the right side by saying new folder, new file. You can do
Yes.
git clone with this third tab, okay, because it has all the tools which I'm going to cover in one of the next sessions. So we don't have to do this git clone, but you know, it's here, doesn't matter, and we can do the database stuff through either the database plugin that we installed, or we can do it through that my admin database in the website, okay? Or you can do it by accessing MySQL directly on the terminal as well, you know? So all those three work. So, yeah, just do what you think is your way.
So we go with MySQL in the terminal, U, root, P for password, and we open it. The password should be root if you set it like that, and we just
He
create.
guessed my password, damn.
And you
That
just
was very
create
secure.
a database called my blog,
Okay.
and make sure a semicolon to end it. And now one row is affected, so the query was correct, and we just exit. So now we should have my blog database right here, even though it's empty because we didn't import anything into it yet. So now we need to import the file that we have here, which is appsforce database.sql, into the my blog database that we just created. So we just do almost the same command that we did here. I will just go up, and I will do my blog, which is the name of the database, and we will import a file which is appsforce database.sql.
So see, you know, because I guess he was practicing and trying to remember this lie, but I never ever remembered this lie, how to import it through MySQL. I don't care to remember. I have much more important things to remember, you know, like my name and where do I live and stuff like that, okay? You know, so I can get home at some point. You know, this is all online. This is something that you can search, okay? What's the syntax? How do I import this, okay? So this is not the stuff that you need to remember and just woo, okay? It's impressive if you know all this shit, but, you know, okay? So,
again, we write the password, and now if we check over here, there should be data in the table.
okay, great.
Okay. From here, we have to go to the website itself, and we have to go out of this. And we will have to add this app into our data. So we go to Manage Apps in My Admin, and if it's not already here, but it is already, but if it's not, we have to create the app, and we will go into appsforce install, and it should have all the information that you need to plug into here. But since the application is already here, I'm just gonna, okay, should I update it?
From my ex-wife to I don't know how many people, you know, they are just randomly clicking on stuff that they see. Oh, I just saw this button, I click on it. What does that button do? What does it say? What did it say before you clicked on it? I don't remember. I just clicked on it. And something went wrong. Don't click on the buttons which you don't know what they do.
Okay, that's why I asked you before I clicked.
Yeah, don't click on the buttons.
Okay, I'm not gonna
If
click.
you see a red button says, you know, don't click on this red button, you know, don't click on it, okay?
All right, so now that the application is here, we have to go to My Admin again, manage the users. Which user is this? this is your user, so we have to go to Andrew here and edit. Oh, wait, it's not edit.
Okay.
Oh, it's applications, sorry. We go to applications and we have to find my blog and grant it.
Okay.
And grant. Okay, now we should be able to find it here. And there it is. Okay, there are two for some reason. And okay, it says that we have to verify the administration email.
Yeah, this email is correct. Okay, so it's perfect.
Okay. And from here you can see that this is the my blog application that we have.
Okay.
Now we just need to find the page to translate, I think. So,
But can you open a new tab? Okay. Okay, and go to aisiha.com. Okay, and log out because I obviously was logged in. And delete this login thing. No, don't log in. Just delete in URL login. Just see how
okay.
users go before they log into this thing. Okay? So this is a website that we have. Okay? Now, if you go to previous tab, no, previous tab, not previous
tab, sorry.
page.
Yes.
Okay, you have the second My Blog with asterisk because you have a front page so you can see it, okay? Well, that's not the same, is it?
No.
Okay, so while you can translate this page to Arabic, you know, this is not the page we are going to see on the websites itself. You're not going to say, welcome to WordPress, Arabic people, nice to meet you.
No, we're not.
Okay, so why is it different?
Why is what different?
Do you notice any difference between this tab and the next tab in your browser? Is there any difference? So go to the third tab. That's the website that we want to see.
Yes.
Okay, but on your computer, it looks like that.
But this is Siha and this is my blog. Two
Correct.
different websites.
Yeah, there are two different websites. But we are developers, you know, if we are developing AI Siha website, we can develop it on our local machine so it looks exactly the same. We make new features and then we push that to the server. So we updated the server. So I'm not going to change on a live website where people are doing, I'm not going to start changing text as they read. That's not a very good thing. Or update functions and so on. I'm going to change it on my local machine, make sure that it's correct, and then transfer those changes over there. But my question is, why is this different? Because they are actually running the same application. It's my blog is on this machine, my blog is on that machine. But what is the difference?
The formatting or the styling in the page.
Yeah, amongst other things.
Yes.
Guys online, what's the difference? Help the dude out.
Can you be more specific with your question?
So why is this not displaying AI Siha, give me nice pictures and the content that is written on that one?
Because that's how you made it in the front end.
But why is that not on this front end?
Because you styled it that way. You used CSS or JavaScript or
Okay, but how
HTML.
do I make it so it looks like the other one?
Well, you add a background and you add some.
So you are going to
Folders.
copy paste, you are going to reproduce the whole thing step by step, okay? Isn't the URL different? Yes, it is different. The URL is different, but the code is exactly the same. So this my blog code, what he cloned, and my blog code on the Siha side is exactly the same code. Apps was my admin on a local machine, and my admin on Siha site is exactly the same. Ubuntu running here, Ubuntu running there, Apache, PHP, all same. So what's the difference?
The structure of the coding.
Yeah, I just told you code is exactly the same, so there's no difference in structure of the coding. Coding is the same. No difference in coding.
I don't know.
Okay? Anyone in the room?
Could you inspect it?
You can, but it's not going to tell you. The inspector will tell you that it has a hello world and it has welcome to WordPress and it's published there, these are divs, and you inspect over there, it will tell you welcome to our Siha and it has this image. So it will tell you that they are different.
So are they different routes?
Different
Routes?
roots.
Roots?
They are same roots. Ahmed saying settings HT access, exactly the same, settings HT access. The server side, completely same, okay? The code, completely same. So what's the third thing, that Holy Trinity, okay?
The theme?
The theme, yes, the theme is different, but that's not what I mean. So what I mean is the data. Okay, the database is different. Okay? Now, if on this website, appswas.com, I have user Andre and the list users and says user is Andre, on aisiha.com I can have user Khalil. So the content that I see in front of me on one website, at least from the database user is Andre, on the other one it is in the database user is Khalil. So on this one, it says in the database there's only one page which has hello world and 3 other lines of text. On the other database on aisiha.com we have many more pages and sub-pages and so on. What she said about theme, okay, it's not just the database that is different, but also the content, that the user content that we created, okay? So the content, the pictures, okay, videos, whatever the user content is, that's the difference, okay? And that's the difference for each website. So each website which is running WordPress has exactly the same code. The only difference is what they put in the database and what they upload to the content, okay? So in order to make our site look exactly the same like site over there, we need to copy all the pictures and we need to import different database. So what we imported is almost blank database, which just gives you one page, but we need to import the database from that site here. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I can, for a second, well, you can do this actually because this has saved the login details, yeah. So it has my login details, so you can log in, sorry. Okay, so if you go to that left bar, you can click on that little next to Appswas logo, so it just sticks there, okay? So go to my admin. This is just a different theme, okay? And go to utilities and go to files, okay? So this is showing all the files on this server, okay? And you have my blog. Okay, that's the same one, and you have AI Siha and my admin, so that's the same. Okay? Stop coughing on a live stream. Go when it's not your turn, then you cough and die and do just like Thomas did over there. Okay, so click on my blog. Okay, so this structure of the folders, this is the code. This is exactly the same, but there is one folder, WP content, where you click in it, okay, and then it has plugins. So WordPress might have different plugins for each installation, different themes, and different uploads. So if you click on uploads, for example, this is the clearest one, you can see subfolders, blah, 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 but let's click on one of those, 2022 or 21, it doesn't have anything. Okay, empty, of course it's empty because we haven't uploaded anything. I hate this thing, but go 2021, go back, just find it. In one of those folders you will have some pictures. Now 2021 is definitely the year because we did this last year, so. There you are. Okay, so if you click on that, one of those pictures, yep, that's one of the pictures that appears on a website, okay? So what we are going to do very quickly here, if you go back to the WP content thing, okay? So just like as I said, the theme is different, the files are different and so on. So you can see this WP content on the right, you have some icons and one of them should be zip. Or you need to, maybe it's different, do the checkbox in front of it and then you have a zip command at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, there is zip at the bottom, yeah. Okay?
Great.
Yep. Okay, so you just zip that folder, boom, and it should be, yeah, it's up there, zip, all right? So that's your content, okay? And then on the right, you have a download icon, the last one, okay? So you can download it to your local machine, okay? All right? So now this is just downloaded all the pictures, all the stuff, so you don't have to draw them and, find exactly the same one. Now, if you go to database, okay, and click on my blog, okay, so this is the database which is different than the other database, okay? It's the same structure of the database, it just has additional data. So if you go to, I don't know, WP posts or pages or stuff like that, you will see that it has more information than empty database that we imported. So above here you have the button export. So we are going to export this database and we are going to save it as SQL. Okay, so it's already chosen for you because I did this stuff before, so it remembers it. So you need to save it as SQL file. Okay, and click export button.
We don't need to specify the database or anything?
It's the database that you just selected, so, okay. So boom, this is your database, all right?
Yes.
So now you have the files, now you have the database, so you put the files WP content over that, and you put the database instead of that database, and hopefully then your website is going to look exactly like this website. And then what you can do on your home computer, you can update the way it looks and feel, play with it, make mistakes, it doesn't matter because you're not breaking the live website which thousands of people are visiting every day. Once you get it right, you can reverse the process. Okay? But we don't have to export the whole database, we can only export one table if we want to with this little tool. So see where you have all these checkboxes. So it says which tables just underneath. You scroll down a little bit, yeah. I'll just move my our picture again. Okay, so see, you can select which databases you want to do. You want the data. Okay, so you don't have to export the whole lot.
Yeah.
And the same thing you import, okay? Because they are running the same platform, AppSource. This is easy, okay? Because it's the same format, same stuff, you know, so it's really easy. So you can just go to the AppSource over there in the first tab, okay? Yeah, this is your AppSource. So go to My Admin, Utilities, Utilities. On the top, it's just a different theme of
Yeah.
AppSource. Database, okay? So go to my blog, okay? Now, the first checkbox, check it.
This one? or-
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so this selects all, scroll down and drop the whole thing, okay? So drop, 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 last button, okay? Yep.
Dropping is deleting everything, right?
Yeah, so now you dropped all the tables, all the data that was this demo data, and you can click import, okay, and you can browse the file, and then you can say to your downloads folder, there's the one that you exported, my blog, okay, and execute. So now you have the different content, okay? Of course, the website, if you refresh the website now, the My Blog front page, if you refresh it, it's not going to work really, you know, it's going to crash and miserably, etc., because we didn't still copy the files and plugins and so on, so of course it's a little bit confused, what the hell do I do? But that's your half an hour, man. Your family is proud.
Thank
Okay.
you for the moment of fame.
Yeah, you will have next one next week. Well, not next week exactly, but you know. Okay, guys, so we are going to make a 3-4 minute break, and then we have a next Brave volunteer after this. Thank you very much. Well done, man. So guys, here's my next volunteer or victim, you know, and this is Julia. She had the toughest task, okay? So I always have to get one really, really hard task, okay? And, you know, for some reason it was her, you know. I don't know why. Yeah,
Good to know.
it's good to know, okay? But no pressure, okay? So maybe you can tell the guys what was your task.
Yeah, my task was to set up environment for Android app for Siha.
Okay.
And to run it on the, how it's called, this Android Studio emulator.
Emulator.
Emulate.
Okay, so AI Siha, of course, has the app. All right, so our users in Tunisia and other countries will have the app that they download, and in that app they can access all the health information in their language. Okay, so how do we set up the development environment for the app development? Okay, well, what do we do?
First, I created a folder in AI Siha project that is called Mobile. Then we need to clone.
So it's in AppSource is the second link. So click there, yeah? And it's AppSource My Git, and you can go to repositories to see all the repositories, yep?
Yeah, so we go to. Where is AI Siha?
On every page you can Control F and search for stuff. It's much easier because when you have these big lists.
AI Siha Mobile, this one.
Yeah, so that's the one, all right?
Yeah, so we copy. And then we go to this Siha Mobile, and then we git clone,
Control Shift V. Yep,
and then we put dot
yep.
here, and then we change the port, and then we delete this S, and then we press enter. Pass.
Yeah, so not every folder on our Git repository is free to use, okay? So this one is asking for my username and password. I guess it's this one. And I don't know what my password is, so maybe it's going to be fun. Okay,
But when I cloned it, it didn't ask.
well, you're special, I am, you know. Nope, that's not my password. So maybe I can fix that. Okay. Okay, so this edit, and I say well, it's restricted push name, so this should just be that. So it's just restricted to push, but not to git clone http beta apps.org 8080 Siha mobile git. You put the dot too close to. There is a space between git and dot, so it was looking for the wrong thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And now we wait.
So what is it doing now?
Cloning from git bleed to our folder mobile, all the files, all the code.
All the code, okay?
Yeah.
So now it's done.
I finished. Then we check what is here, and then we see that there are no node files here, and without node files it will not work.
How do you know it needs node files?
Because first I tried to do it without node files and it threw me error
Okay, what error was it? Do you remember?
that it cannot find. Because first I installed this Android Studio and then I cloned everything to this folder and then I opened this folder in Android Studio and then it was written error because it cannot find node files.
Okay. So this application, okay, I can't remember, is it right now Ionic or React Native, right?
React Native.
It's React Native, thank you, okay? And we are using React Native and Ionic and different frameworks for mobile development, because what we can do is write one code in a very similar language to HTML, JavaScript, CSS. So we are kind of baking web pages. And then we can build the app for both Android and iOS, which are using completely different languages, okay? So this allows us to save literally half the time, because otherwise you would have to make two applications in two different languages, okay? It does have a drawbacks, but who cares? Right now, it is all good. So you got the app, you need node modules. So how do we get node modules?
So we must be in this folder in mobile and then we must put npm install
Okay.
and that's
How do you know that you put npm install? Where did you get that from?
I always knew it.
Always.
Always.
Since you were 3 years baby, you know, what was your second word after mama and papa?
Exactly.
npm. Okay, good.
So enter. Well, it seems like it's not installed on this laptop. With
Of
me
course.
it was installed.
Yes. But this is exactly, you know, this is a fresh laptop, which most people will have that never developed mobile applications. They will not have a command npm, okay? So lovely Linux, if you read the stuff, what it tells you, it says,
Sudo
we
app
didn't find
install.
it, but you can install it with that line. Okay, so great, let's just install it with that line. It's a secret password. You know, it's a very complex, long number, 1723. Okay. As I say, use very easy passwords. Don't care if somebody steals it. You can use 1723 for your purposes, guys. Or 1234, whatever it is. This is your local machine. You know, doesn't have to be very secure. So what the hell is it doing now?
Installing npm. I don't know what is npm is project package manager from Node.
Exactly. So it's a Node project manager. You know, I hate these abbreviations. I never know what any of those mean. So you're much better than me in that terms. You know, you would win. You know, any quizzes and pub quizzes. You know, I would fail. But it's package manager, so it manages the packages. What are the packages?
Well, I have no idea. I know that if you use npm, and then you can install everything what you want.
Which are packages.
Yeah.
Well, what are packages, you know?
$1 billion bank account.
Yeah. Well, you can, okay, but the package is, just like Laravel had that vendor folder where we have all the extensions and the framework itself, all right? And then I can add additional code. Let's say I want to add the payment system. I can add the package. I don't have to write the payment system. I can just add the package for it, okay? So it saves me a huge amount of time. Now, Node.js is a JavaScript platform, okay, which has huge support on the internet, and it has millions of packages for all types of purposes, including mobile development, especially for mobile development. So if we want to make a 3D game, if we want to make a payment in the system, if we want to access GPS to find where the user is on the phone, we can install a package for that. We don't have to write lots of code. We just say, hey, get me the location with 1 or 2 lines, and boom, the magic happens. So, but we need a package manager. We need something to get us all those packages, and that's NPM. So now she got the package manager, okay? And now she can install all those packages. So how do you install the packages?
Oh, now we can do npm install.
Yeah. But before you press enter, how does it know which packages you want?
That's actually a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because I guess, you know, we are doing a Siha app, and if somebody else is doing some other app like Facebook or whatever, they will need different packages. So we have a thing which lists all the packages that we need, okay? And this thing, in that thing, we can add the packages one after another if we need a new one, if we add a new feature, okay? So there's a file called package JSON, I think is that one. So if you just click on it quickly, you know, so basically see dependencies, I think that's where it is, okay? So see here, it says React Native, I need Firebase messaging, okay? For example, line 24 or 25, yeah? See that one? So this is the one that is used for push notifications, okay? So there are others, but we choose to use Firebase in this case, which is Google product. So, and it's free, so I can send push notifications to the users to tell them, hey, there's a new feature, or you didn't visit app for a long time, we miss you, and all that sort of stuff. So all those boring messages that you get on your phone, that's probably using Firebase, and all the other. So picker, I think those probably those daytime pickers, you know, those scrollers, I'm not sure, maybe they are not. Navigation, drawer, that's your menu, I think, that, you know, the one that slides in and out so it looks nice, and then you have some tabs and who knows what. So we added a number of packages to this app. So when you do npm install, if you press enter now, it will go through this list and install all of these, but each one of these might have 10 other packages that it needs to run. So it will not just install these 10, which are on our list, it will install probably 200 of them, okay? So it installs dependencies of dependencies of dependencies. And typically, it never works. So did it work on your computer when you just type npm install?
I did it, well, I don't know, last week or something, I think, yeah. I don't
Yeah, but I
remember.
gave you a task yesterday, so how did you do it last week? You know,
No,
time
I
traveler.
I mean npm, no, this command worked with me yesterday.
Okay, well, it doesn't work now.
And this arrows really, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is extremely hard, okay, because all these software developers like to give you so much information that it absolutely makes no sense. Why don't you just tell me what's wrong? No, we'll tell you everything about the thing. We'll print out thousands of lines of code, and you don't know what any of this mean, so it's hard, okay? Well, one thing what we can do, there is a little button, I think this little arrow up next to X in this terminal, so So we can make it bigger. So scroll to the top where you typed npm install, okay? So you type npm install, and then it first of all was going one by one on that list and said warning, okay? So it says that some of our packages that we are asking for are no longer maintained, or they are obsolete, or so it still works, but you shouldn't really use them, okay? Now typically we ignore this, okay? And then it tried to do another package, deep sign, whatever, instead of this one, and then it got an error, okay? Missing argument hash number 1, okay? Type error, this is an error with npm itself. Report error to npm people. Do you know when will npm people come back to you with this error? I don't know, probably never. It depends. Sometimes these communities are really alive, so if you go online and post it, you get the reply same day. So it's worth doing this sometimes if you don't have any other option. So you can go online and post the error to the webs, Ahmed said never, but Ahmed, it's you, so they never replied to you. They replied to me sometimes. So option number 1, pack our bags, report the error, go home, wait for them to reply. What else can we do?
Google.
We can Google. What would you Google?
Arrow, well, this.
Now, if I Google dog, okay, how many results will I get if I Google dog? Yeah. But I want to know if my dog is, I don't know, can't sleep during the night, what the hell do I do? So I have to be extremely specific, to get, and I still get millions of replies. So missing required argument number 1. If I Google that is so generic that I will find every bloody missing child, missing requirements, missing arguments, and number 1 is obviously not very useful. So Googling that would not help me.
Now, of course, you need to add npm install arrow this.
Okay, well, as I showed you on one of those times, if I do that in Google npm install, open it in browser, let's see what is happening. Okay, and just open a new tab, control click first 6 results, okay? Okay, fine. Let's see what is that. Okay, so what did the guy say? Same here. Damn, I have, I'm not compassionate, but there are compassionate people out there. I'm not the only one. I have the same problem here, bro. Yeah. Okay. So, Julia, log in here, create the account. Same here. But I had to do it live. Can you imagine? Okay, very useful. What else did they say? Come on.
Okay, so.
The same here, guys. Anything else useful? Same problem. Same problem. Run into this as well. Oh my God, can we keep scrolling? I'm having too much fun with this. Which version of apt are you using? Which version of apt are you using? How is this relevant to npm install? This guy either hasn't got a clue what he's on about, or we are on the wrong page, because we did install npm with apt, but there is no version of apt, okay? So what else does it say? The original issue has a npm the log which says this and this and this and then that. It comes with that and it comes with that. If you're stuck at 8, you're adding latest. And then your Docker files in order to build deploys working. What Docker files? Okay? And then there is a guy who always links something to some other page, okay? There is another page here. So let's say the tab number 2, okay? What the tab number 2 needs. Oh my God, this one copied the whole lot. All right, what's wrong here? Your NPM version is completely outdated. You are on NPM 3 and NPM 6. So we can see, okay, there is a guy talking about version there. There's a guy talking about version here, okay? Fine. So he's talking about Linux 12. Of course, this is 16 years old, this bloody article, so yeah, that's going to be useful. Okay, what's the third tab? 41 answers. 41 answers to question, How many of these 41 answers are correct? Okay, again, same thing. He has a problem with NPM. Update NPM Node.js to the latest version. Okay, NPM installed this, NPM, but we just installed NPM. This is useful.
Let's check what version.
NPM version, let's check that, okay? So this doesn't hurt. This is not going to break anything.
352.
Okay, and everybody is saying you are using 352 and this is bloody old, okay? So we can try to install latest, okay? So npm install g npm. Oh my God, what the hell are these commands? Okay, let's look at, for a second, okay? You just scroll up a little bit, okay? So this guy says, okay, update Node.js to the latest version. So we know sudo, what the hell that is. And npm I, number 5, is short for npm install. So this is not very useful. So npm install -g n. That's so descriptive. I straight away know exactly what it does. Well, there is one guy who does. And then says sudo n latest. What the hell is now n? And then npm install g npm. What the hell? Who invents this shit, So I just can't understand a single word what this means. And I really don't, okay? I don't understand what this means, okay? So, shall I type this in my terminal and see what happens? Yeah, let's do it, okay. I wouldn't do this, okay? Because I don't know what this does. Maybe this is the solution. Maybe this guy is genius, and surely he got 100 so on claps, so maybe it actually works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Chinese bots clapped, here. Maybe he clapped himself, I don't know, okay? So what's the next tab? The next tab, what does the next tab say? Oh my God, more stuff, more stuff. Oh, he explained everything, okay? The solution. So,
NPM version is old.
okay, so the solution, okay, is not working. So his solution, number 3, says it's not working. So npm and Node.js integrated by system, so I decided to remove from the system. So he basically told us the whole story of his life, okay? So 5. And then he installed them again, okay? So now he has completely different apt install npm. Well, we did that. And then npm install -g n. But see, what this guy did is...
There's a model called then, yeah.
Yeah, but he explained a little bit what this means. Okay? And this is why I say, guys, if you go to the documentation of Node.js and NPM, you will find all this information, because this guy who knows the solution, how the heck did he get the solution? When he went to see the documentation, official documentation, how to use the project, how to update the project, okay? He didn't try npm install -g, but before he tried -g, he tried -a, -b, -c, -d to see which one works. He didn't do that. And G worked. Well, finally. I was so happy I didn't have to go to all the way to Z. Okay? So, but this one, as I say, sometimes you will find at page number 58, if you scroll down and read very carefully. Okay, so let's try this line, npm install -gn. Let's try it. I still don't know what it does, you know, because I need glasses to read this crap, and boom. Ah, great command.
Finish
I think
sudo.
probably we need sudo, okay, but you know, do we need sudo?
No. It will say permission denied.
It will say permission denied. Now the problem with sudo, we know that everything that we type sudo will work better than without sudo, okay? But the thing is, when you type sudo, then all the files created are, if you have default, they are root, and if you try to access them as AF or Khalil or Julia, you won't be able to. Okay, so then you will say, oh my God, it still doesn't work. You know, I may fix that error, but I have now another one. As I said, we need to read the documentation, okay, and it's a slow process. And then, because everybody else will do this, you know, the people who spend lots of time doing that and figuring it out, they need to write proper instructions with explanations step by step, how did they do this? You know, so every one of you who is training this will need to install the Android Studio and so on. And if you have Mac, you will also have to install Xcode and all that crap, you know, because to build iOS applications. So we have little Macs here, we can try that, and then build the applications there, okay? But this is the whole point that I'm trying to make. It typically doesn't work. And what doesn't work are the versions of the files. Okay, so when I say to you guys, please install PHP version 7.3, and then I have everything from version -20 to +20 installed, etc., you know, and we have smart asses installing Ubuntu 20 and 25 and so on, you know, that's fine. It will work roughly. Okay, but we will have different problems as a group of people, and I have to go around and solve everybody's problem, and then figure out, oh my God, this guy installed Maria database instead of MySQL, and so on, because the documentation told him to, etc., okay, because he read it somewhere. He didn't read it very carefully, but, you know, he read it, and it was crap, you know, it wasn't written very well. So it's tough to figure out exactly what we need to do, but don't rush it, okay? I didn't say, okay, we have half an hour, we have to have our application up and running. We didn't get far, but that wasn't the point to get far. It was the point to run into the problem and then discuss how we solve this problem. What do I read? What do I look after? You know, how do I think when I read? That's the key. But most of the stuff that you read on the internet, copy paste over here, it's going to either break it, make it worse, or at least not fix it. So please, please, please don't copy paste shit from internet into your terminal or anywhere else. Okay, read documentation.
So, like in this case, should we like ch on? Maybe ch on is the problem.
So I don't know. We don't have the solution right now. We suspect from internet, we check the version number, it's rather old, but what's the current version of NPM? Did we figure out?
No.
No, okay. Where would that be?
The documentation.
In the documentation, okay? So,
Yeah.
but this application that was built, that we just cloned, was built with a certain version of NPM. Which one they recommend? Nobody else will just install it. We can't work like that. We have to ask questions. Which version of NPM you need to install? Where did you get it from? How did you get it? Where is the documentation? We, as developers, need documentation. We don't need gossip. We don't guess. We don't have a crystal ball, and so on. You did very well. Thank you very much. You know, I'm very happy that you managed to break my computer and so on, but well done. And we are online, my last victim. Okay, so what was your task, Sam?
My task was to create a new database and
Okay.
fill it with words from the articles that are already in another database.
Okay. Now, one thing what I was yelling at DJ earlier the other day was precision of your explanation. What are you talking about has to be precise, okay? So when you say I'm going to build a new database, that's not precise enough. You're not going to build a new database.
A data table in the AI Siha project.
Are you going to put a table in a project?
In the database
Which database?
of the AI Siha project.
Yeah. Well, which database is that?
The app source database, I guess, no?
No.
What is
Okay.
it called?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit tough here, but I'm giving tough love. I'm not, I'm sorry to, but we need to be precise in what we are saying. We need to be precise in what we are programming, okay? So I know what she wants to say, okay? But if anybody is listening, they would do it differently. And this is probably how all this crap documentation happens. The guy is thinking right, but he writes it wrongly, okay? So the database is already here. It's AI Siha. That's the name of our database. Inside of this database, we are going to make a table, okay? So it's going to be inside the database. The tables are always inside the database. So I know what you're thinking, okay? It's just, slow down. Always slow down. We are always rushing to make this stuff quickly. Don't rush. Slow down. Think a little bit. Okay, okay. So you need to make a new table. What's the table for?
It will contain all the words that
All
are
the words.
in the articles,
Okay.
the English ones.
Okay, so we have thousands of articles which are already in a table called articles or English articles. So her task is to extract all the individual words and put them in a new table. Wow. So how would you go around that?
Okay, so at first, of course, our knowledge on this is very limited. So I just want to check if there is anything here that resembles my task. And I know that the articles get taken from somewhere, they get put in a database. So and
Yeah,
they
they're
also get
already there.
translated.
Yeah, they're
they are-
already there.
Yeah, but this also happens in a file somewhere here. So I found here conditions PHP and then also some jobs, translation job.
How did you find
conditions
those?
table.
How did you find those? And why were you looking for them?
Yeah, that's what I said, because I didn't know how to start. So I wanted to see if there is anything that resembles it, so I can also take stuff from there.
Exactly. She didn't go and Google, how do I start?
No.
Okay? Because no one ever did this task before. They did lots of similar tasks, but this specific one, no one ever did. When we are developers, we always do stuff completely from scratch. This is a new thing. Okay? So what she did is absolutely right. She tried to find in the code something similar, something to give her the hint, so she tried to understand the code. That's how you learn. Find something similar. If it doesn't work on your computer, go to the computer next and see what works and what's the difference. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay, so this one is called fill conditions table, but I guess it's table.
Yeah.
And
Well done, Ahmed.
yeah, then there is a function here that I don't necessarily understood.
Which one?
It's called handle.
Handle, okay?
Actually, I opened both of them, so let's
Okay.
do that. So we can also see, well, this handle is also here. So I assume that's just needed to make it work.
Okay, you can also click on this icon at the top left, and that will collapse the file explorer. Top left, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then we have a little bit more space. And if you're not going to use the terminal, you can close it so we get even more space for
Yeah.
that, okay? It's easy to open. And then we
Okay,
have a
maybe
lovely
a
picture of two of us in a corner, but that's fine. All right, so
Okay,
tell me what do we see here?
so on the left it's this fill conditions table class, and on the right, translation job.
Okay.
So my job would be to put the words in the tables, and here is one job that translates sentences or text, and the other one that puts all the conditions in a table. So it's similar to what we try to do. And then we see here, left and right, it starts off with, yeah, quite similar with the construct, then the handle function. Then here is the cron job function, and here starts the new translate function. So I would make a function for the words that is specific for my words class.
Okay.
So we can start with doing that. Just put.
You can
right
use a
mouse.
mouse as well. You don't have to use that
Oh.
horrible trackpad.
Okay, so a new file, call it words, yeah, fill words table. Okay. Fill, yes. Right, then I just, for now, copy all of this. Oh,
No, that one is a bit longer.
not everything. And a new function. Then all of this is specific for the task that I don't have to do anymore, so just skip that. And it also calls some other functions, but that's not needed. Close this. So this. Okay. Here I will put the words function, so I call it words function. And this also I have to change. Then also here. This also.
So how do you know that you need to change that?
Because these were the names of the functions that were called in here.
Okay.
No.
You just rename all the stuff, so you're just matching it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and I made it a bit similar so that I know if I look for the other one,
Okay.
I know what to replace it to. Okay. Then I remembered some stuff about the roots.
Okay.
So I went to check there. And here we see this cron job trans function and cron job function. That's we saw in the two different files. So I just copied this and just change this as well. Okay. It calls the home controller, so there should be some stuff there. And
So the Control P, when you type anywhere, just you can type the file name that you want to find. It's quite useful.
so here are two very short functions that were used in both files. I don't know what they do, but I will also copy it. This is exactly how I went about it. Words.
I have some spare functions under the table if you want to copy those as well, you know. Feel free, you know. What can go wrong?
Yeah, we know it's a similar job, right?
It's similar, yeah.
Similar. And then here below is the same function as what is in the
Similar.
PHP file. It's actually the same, but it has an underscore before it.
Oh,
And it says test a specific endpoint scenario. But I will leave that blank for now and continue with the rest. So maybe we should check if...
but what's your thinking process here so far? Because you know, you find lots of similar stuff, which you say, oh, that might be handy, that might be handy, that looks like something. You know, I'm just banging everything together. But you know, one of the things that I said, okay, guys, is write the comments in your code and explain to yourself in English or whatever language you're speaking, what the hell are you doing? Okay? Because what's the plan here? I see that she's, you know, finding good stuff, okay? So lots of this stuff will be useful, so I'm very happy about that. But I don't see what's the plan right now.
So I know what to do to get some words in the table and then
What do you
iterate
do?
over the text. So I need to create a place where I can start working on that, right?
Okay, so you are creating a place where you start working, but somebody here was created a controller and root, you know, they didn't need to copy the whole thing, because what you have here, if you just close the search and open this file explorer, okay? Now, one thing that I want to show you, okay, so can you expand jobs on the, you know, jobs, just a lower, okay. Now these are jobs, okay? And the jobs are stuff that is done in the background, okay? And she's not going to use the background stuff because we didn't cover that yet, okay? So and this is not going to work because it's also not set up, okay? And on Linux, if we want to do something periodically or whatever, you know, or just behind, we do a thing called cron job. So we, with the cron job is like a little server application which calls the command on specific time that we put in place. So that's another thing that we need to set up in order for these cron jobs to get fired. So they get fired. So I said, call this line, I don't know, field was table every Monday at 3 o'clock. Okay, so that one gets executed. Doesn't matter how the user's logged in and out or not, that gets executed. So this is where we keep the jobs that we want to do in the background. Okay?
You only put it when you want to keep calling the thing?
Yeah, but I need to set that up, and it's not set up on this computer or any of your computers. So of course, what she's doing is she's right now in web root, so she's going to trigger this by typing a certain URL. Okay? But I'm just saying is that what we could have done, what would be easier for us, is not to mess up with jobs, and create code there. I would just stick with this root, controller, and view, of course, just like we've seen in one of the first examples. You know, just keep the structure intact, because if we put stuff in a wrong place, then either somebody else will think it does something completely wrong, or we won't be able to find it later. But, you know, carry on. I just wanted to make sure that we understand that this is not the ideal organization what she's doing right now.
For now, I don't start over.
No, no,
We'll
no, no.
just
Keep
continue.
going, keep
Okay.
going. It's fine. You know, because the PHP doesn't care. You can put it wherever you want. It's just later for your information to find it. It should be in the right place. So all the controllers together, all the functions are in controllers and so on. But
Okay. It should be almost set up, but I want to see if I missed anything else. So I just copied one of the other similar functions and check if if I missed something there. So I have a root for mine.
okay,
Yeah, this is in. I have a PHP file with the class
okay,
and this stuff in the home controller. Okay. Let's see. So here in this function, I want to start typing stuff, and then if we use this root and paste it in the URL, we should see the outcome of that.
okay. So this is one quick test. Okay, can you put dd,
Oh,
dd, just dd, dump and dive, and in normal brackets, quotes, hi or hello or something like that. Okay, and then semicolon at the end. So this will show that information when you call that URL.
so is it cron words?
No, AI Siha, I think, before that.
Oh yeah. I forgot the name already.
Is the other one? The words one that you needed?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yes, yeah.
so it's the naming of the controllers. So it's looking in up HTTP controllers where controllers are. It is looking for the controller called world job. Okay, but because this file is in jobs, not in controllers, it fails. Okay, so we just need to move this file into the right place so Laravel can find it. Okay, so you just basically drag and drop your file. If you go to File Explorer,
But also I didn't define a words job anywhere, I think.
so this fill words table, is that the one that it's looking for?
Class name is wrong.
Okay. Class is fill words function, and your name is fill words table.
It should be added here.
No, no, see, the file name, what's the name of the file that you have in your code? The PHP file.
Yeah, that is fill words table. No, not true. Yeah, fill words table, right? Yes.
Okay, and what's the name of the class?
Fill words function.
These have to be the same.
This one also. No. This one.
Okay? So is it working now? Yeah, but it's still looking in this class was job. So when you call this URL, can we go to the web roots, okay? So where's that URL in the web roots?
Yeah. So to home controller. And then here. this one is not correct.
Yeah, because that doesn't exist. It's called that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have to import it at the top.
Yes. Yeah, so we got our high, which is great, okay? So it's always good to, type line or two of code and then check is it working, okay? Because if you type 1,000 lines of code and it's not working, then you have to go back and redo everything step by step, okay? So always check is it working, okay? So you got high, which is great, fine. As I said, this could be much simpler by not using the jobs, but it eventually will use the job. So this dispatch function that she doesn't know what it's doing is actually firing the job and starting the job. So it says start this job, and this job has a thing which says print high on the screen. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so we don't need DD high. So what do we do? Need.
So now the plan was to first start with one article.
Okay.
So we want to take that article and take the text from the article,
Okay.
split it into words.
Okay, so this is what I do, okay? Type this as a comment, okay? So delete the DD, okay? And type that as a comment. And then somebody else who comes in later sees this code will say, aha, you are taking this article, it's in plain English, I can understand it much better than dispatch this and controller that or whatever not. So get one article, split text into array of words. Okay, so when we get array of words, so it's big list of words, what do we do then?
Oh.
Yeah, so we add them to the database, okay? So, okay, we have 5 more minutes, so let's try to get an article, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Too late.
Okay. I just would use this to get the first article.
How did you
letter A.
know that to type that?
I also found it just to look for something similar. And then made sense of it. Yeah.
So this is the key. Understand, find something similar, understand how it works, and then you can modify it to do exactly what you want. So she's doing a very smart thing here, okay? So can you do the article after that and call this code? Dollar article. Okay, so this is our article, and if you open attributes, which is that one in the middle that you were just there, yeah, just open that. So this is your article, this is your short description, long description, and stuff like that. So she did fetch one article, which is great, okay? So let's see what was the next step.
Okay, so I will start with the short description because the article itself has a lot of these things that we have to take into account. So now I just create a variable with the text or sentence, and that would be the article, and from that the attribute that I just copied here.
Can you DD that
Can?
with the dollar?
No. So that is a full
So we
sentence.
can see that, this article had lots of information. She extracted exactly what she needs, and now it's in much better format. So we want individual words, so we have to break this big object, use the property that we need. Okay, now that we have the property that we need to break it into the words. So how do we do that?
Well,
How would you
here-
find out how to do
Here
it?
I do use Google. I
Okay.
guess that's fine. So I would just,
Yeah, but do you know why is it fine?
because I don't know the syntax, and then
Yeah, but you
I know
know
what to
exactly
search
what you want to do. You have
Yeah.
a string that you want to break into the individual words. So you have something very specific.
yeah.
And if you type PHP, it will give you PHP code, not JavaScript or all the others.
Into items, something with the space. It's oh, and then of course specify. I never know whether to put Laravel or PHP, so I just do
PHP.
it PHP.
And Laravel, or you can put both. Because if you, Laravel might have lots of helpful functions. So if you put Laravel, it will typically give you Laravel's functions. But if you don't find it, you can always put the PHP, and then it will give you PHP functions. And Laravel is using those functions, okay? So PHP has, let's say, less powerful, but many more. And Laravel has slightly more powerful, so they are like built on these ones. Okay?
Okay, so apparently there is this explode function which is exactly what we need, and then you say I want to split it on the space, and I just used that part. This we don't need. List is gonna give us the array of words. Let's see. Oh. Okay. But now this one has a capital, here is still a comma, it has these brackets and a dot at the end, so I also want to get rid of that.
Okay, so see, when we planned stuff, okay, she couldn't envisage that there will be an extra step here, okay, because now that she sees the result, and this is why I say every time when you write a line of code, it's good to see that result, because then you say, oh my God, what do I do with all these brackets, commas, and stuff like that? Now I need to strip them, okay? So she can add additional comment on the line, so I need to strip punctuation and all the other marks in order to get individual words. We didn't predict that when we started doing this, but now we can add that, okay? So, and because she knows specifically what she wants to do, you can Google and she will probably find very quickly right answer how it's done. One thing which is cool, because if you copy paste PHP code in your code, okay, and try that, and if it doesn't work, nobody gets hurt. If you copy paste sudo commands in your terminal, you may end up reinstalling your Ubuntu 6 times like somebody here did already, okay? And most of you will at some point, okay? So, so PHP is a little bit safer to play with, okay? You can Control Z. You can't Control Z in terminal, can you?
Okay, so I would say this one, because here the question was except for these characters, but we don't want that. So this one, but then we need to specify exactly which characters we want to remove.
Now, so if I specify exclamation mark and comma, then I will find that they have semicolon. And if I add that one, then I will find a word which has dash. And if I find the one with the dash, I will find one which has apostrophe. So I will never get it right, okay?
But we don't want to get rid of the apostrophe, for example.
For example, we don't, you know, so there is a very interesting thing here. Now, the problem becomes very complex, and then we have this with words especially, and then we have these regular expressions which we can define to say, okay, give me specifically, you know, so it's completely separate topic. It's actually a completely almost separate science, all right? So we're not going to do that right now, okay? But obviously, if we run the command that she found, we will remove some of the most common ones, okay? And then after you remove that, you go through the table and save them, but then you also discover one thing, that some of the words will be duplicates,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
So this we leave it for now.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Just tell
Yeah.
me, you know, so how did you deal with duplicates?
So I first check whether the word that I obtained is already in the table,
Okay,
and if not, then add it.
okay. So there is additional check. So every word that she gets says, does it already exist in my table? If it does, don't add it to my database because it is pointless. Okay, excellent. So we are past 6 o'clock. So well done and congratulations, all of you guys. You were terrific. All right. So I hope this was useful. Next Tuesday, I'm going to give another lesson, and then next Thursday we'll have another group of people, the online guys, doing their tasks. What we will do in the description of this, we will post those tasks so everybody who wants to do it online can try to do the same tasks. Okay, so just for practice, so you can easily follow. So this was like, okay, you didn't know these were the tasks, but for the next Thursday, we'll publish what those 4 tasks will be, and we'll have a similar format. They'll just do it online instead of here in public, so I have to virus it and make it happen. Okay, cool. Thank you all very much, and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.